Good morning. It's Friday. It's Jay Green, Whittier Investor, private lender. I wanted to talk to you about building ADUs. If it's a good decision, should you build an ADU? And how do you get started on building an ADU? So this is my ADU I'm building in Whittier. It's 2-bedroom, 1 bath, about 830 square feet. So I wanted to tell you how to get started, why it makes sense, kind of what they cost, why you should consider building an ADU. So let me take you inside of my ADU and kind of show you the inside. So this is my ADU that I'm trying to finish up. Hopefully I'll be done in about a month. It took me over a year to get my plans approved. That's very unusual. Depending on what city you're in, you can get these approved in a couple months, usually under 6 months to get them approved. So an ADU stands for accessory dwelling unit, and it can be a garage conversion. It can be a freestanding dwelling like this is, where I built this from the ground up. You know, we pour the foundation. So it's its own like little house. It'll have its own address. And what's exciting about building ADUs is the value you add to your property. So this ADU is going to cost me approximately $150,000 to build. And that's a great price because this unit can rent out. The market rent on this is about $2,700 to $2,900. I'm going to rent it out a little bit less to a family member, but as you can see, you're spending, $150,000, but you can command, $2,700, $2,900 in gross rents. That is amazing. And so if you own a property and you want to build ADUs and create income on your property, this is a fantastic way to add value to your property and create additional income. So how you start with an ADU is, right now in the state of California, most properties will allow an ADU. You don't have to no longer, it doesn't have to be your primary residence. They've lowered the requirements for parking and all the things about 3 years ago that almost made it impossible to build an ADU if you lived in the property, or if you didn't live there, if it was a rental, because of the parking requirements and all the other requirements that were needed to do an ADU. So what you do is you want to start with a draftsman or a good architect that has experience doing ADUs. If you need some referrals, I have several guys that are really good at architects. And also in picking the right architect helps because you want to make sure that that person has had experience working in a particular city. And if you need an architect, and normally to do plans for a freestanding ADU like this, you're looking at about $4,000 to $10,000. I'm kind of giving you a broad range. Now you can convert a garage. If you have an existing garage, you can convert that to an ADU. And I'm doing one in Montebello. It's a normal sized garage, about 350, 400 square feet. And I'm gonna spend about $50,000 to $60,000 converting the garage. That's a great price. Now, the income I can achieve on that ADU will be about $1,600 to about $1,800 for that studio. So I'm gonna spend $50,000 to $60,000, and I'm gonna generate those types of monthly rents. So again, you start with an architect and ask the architect or draftsman, has he or she had experience in the city you live with? Have you done any other ADUs? And so start with those questions. Make sure they have experience drawing ADUs. They're not difficult. So you can do a freestanding ADU. You can do a garage conversion. You may even be able to do multiple ADUs depending on the zoning. Like I'm doing other properties where I'm building multiple ADUs on one property. You can also do what's called a JADU. It's a junior ADU. And what that is it's a part of the structure, like you have a house or a duplex or other type of property, and you're taking a portion of that. You're either converting a portion of that to another little unit, or you're adding on to an existing house. So that's called a junior ADU, and it's attached to the existing structure that's there. Like if your house is there already, you're attaching to that unit. That's called a junior ADU. So the first step again is talking to an architect or a draftsman to find out if you can do an ADU, what you can do. I would go for as many units as you can, unless you live there and you don't want tons of people like living on your property. But if it's especially a rental, like maximize the amount of ADUs that you're going to be, putting on that property for maximum rental income. So if you want to start with, getting some names of architects I work with, give me a ring, 714-747-1912. I also have several contractors and people that can build your ADU. And then so what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your plans drawn and submitted. And that's just one part of the process. And so you submit them to the city. Once they're approved, then you can go and pay for your permits. And they call that RTI, ready to issue. And then you can go and pay for the permits and pull them. And normally the permits are good for like about 2 years, 12 months, 2 years. The city will tell you how long they're good. So you don't have to start building right away, but the first step is to get your plans approved. And then with those plans, you can get bids I would get several bids from different contractors to know what it's gonna cost. Try to go with a recommended contractor. Go look at what they've done. The construction industry is kind of a mess, and I have some great contractors, but they are and they can be a nightmare. No disrespect to you contractors, but I hear horror stories all the time. I've been through my own horror stories. So make sure, don't just take them at their word, and make sure you get a service agreement and a contract and hold them accountable. If they tell you it's gonna cost $100,000 or $150,000 or $200,000, be clear on what are they doing, what does it include, what happens if they go over their timelines, if they tell you it's gonna take 4 to 6 months, what happens. Don't give them all the money at once, and inspect the property, make sure the work is being done before you give them additional draws. Give them a little bit of money to start, because I get calls all the time, and it's happened to me where you give them money and then they don't perform completely, and you've given them more money than the work that they've performed to you. So if you're interested in building an ADU and you have any questions at all, I'm here to answer any questions. Jay Green, 714-747-1912. And right now is a great time because the laws in California allow you to build these ADUs. I'm taking full advantage of it and I'm doing, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 ADU projects right now. I'm building, let's see, I'm in the middle of, like 3 of them are actually under construction, and then the other 5 I'm waiting for plans to get approved. But it's exciting, and you can finance these. You can get refinance your house. You can pay cash. You can go get a home equity line. You can use private money. So there's a lot of different ways to finance the ADUs. So if you have good equity in your property, you should be able to get access to the capital if you don't have cash. So let's explore that. If you need my help, again, Jay Green, 714-747-1912. I wish you luck with your investing, and good luck with those ADUs. Have a great day and a good weekend.